What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of UOT Radio Podcast. Remember, UOT stands for Ugandans on Twitter, and this is a socially conscious podcast that looks at the issues that affect Ugandans online across all social media platforms. And today we do have a very serious topic with a special guest that I'm going to introduce in a bit. And today our topic is graduation enough to guarantee one a job? And I'm here joined by Bako Bako. He can introduce himself in full.
Hello, how are you? Yeah, you're listening to UOT, a podcast just like she has put it out, the one that tackles issues that are within Uganda that bother so many Ugandans, basically the challenges. Well, I'm called Bako. You can check me on socials as Bako Bako. And I've always listened to the UOT, and then this time around I felt like we could do something with my friend Queen Lakeli. I think we should hit the road and keep going.
Okay, so Bako, tell us why you chose this particular topic.
Well, I chose this topic because I feel like it's like there are so many graduates coming out this time around, and yet given this COVID situation, you realize that so many companies laid off workers, so meaning you don't expect them to sort of recruit more. They laid off the ones they already had. They are trying to keep fewer numbers, and yet again the number of graduates are increasing, because lately there is going to be most of the universities are doing their graduation, and while they are releasing these students out there, you're thinking that they must be looking, they are going to be out there looking for jobs. So that's why I put it out, so that we get to know if really someone needs to look at graduation alone, or there are other things that could factor in as they try to pursue their life after studies, which is basically getting a job and then other things coming. So that's it. It's because I'm seeing so many graduates coming out. They come out, some of them have performed very well with the first degree and all that, but then is it enough to guarantee them getting jobs when they get out in the job market?
Yeah, I totally agree. I know every day I read the newspapers, every time there are like thousands of graduates coming out, and yet the jobs seem to be getting less and less. And you watch TV and you see our leaders talking about encouraging people to become job creators, but you realize a lot of the graduates are only skilled in terms of books. If you give them questions, they'll answer. There's a lot of cram work, and I feel like it's our education system that has really failed the graduates. But I really feel like education is important. And yes, graduating may or may not be important, but if you're looking to aim for, those top level positions, it's important to at least have the papers.
Yes, just like how you've put it out, most of the students in Uganda, to be honest, most of the education they do have is theoretical. You find a student, he knows everything in the theory bit of it, but when it comes to practicality, putting everything into reality, they can't show up. And yet this is what is most needed at workplaces. For example, personally, I did some IT related course units rather, but then most of the things they were teaching us were basically theory, but you cannot study IT when you even don't have enough computers. So how do you expect me to go out of the job environment and be able to execute something that is just in theory? So it means I'll go at the job and then require more training to try and be able to put out whatever I learned. So you realize whatever you had in class was not enough to sort of get you started at the job. So that's why you find most of the companies are looking for people who are trained practically rather than those who have the theory bit of it. So it's literally double work. Like you learned and then again you have to learn again, like training. So you're literally learning twice. Looks like you've wasted your time when you're at campus. So that's it. And maybe just to add on, personally, I don't know, I am this kind of person who always, when I was young, when I was in school, I always felt like maybe the things they are teaching me, I'm way too young to understand them. Then when I've grown and I'm studying at campus, there are some things I found so easy to understand. Then I'm thinking, am I grown? All those students who are understanding, were they older than me? I was trying to make those comparisons. But then you realize some of them are your age mates, then some others are young. But maybe it was just because of my background that I was not trying to pick some of those things. But then what I realized is that now the environment I'm in is more practical, because personally I started working right when I was joining campus. So I realized that some of the things I was getting them easily, like what the teachers would teach, I was already having it in mind, so it was not easy for me. It was not difficult for me to do the exam and sort of study fast. So I realized it's not that maybe the things that were taught were way above my thinking, or my brain was not yet so developed. It's because the things they were teaching were so theoretical, like there's no practical bit of it to help you put it in your mind. For example, there's no way you're going to expect a kid to answer a question of fishing methods, yet they have not been to Lake Victoria to sort of see those things. So if the kids are taken to those places, it will become so easy for them to put those things in their mind. The kid will not fail to say that using fish nets is a method of fishing, because they have seen it before. So I think it needs to become more practical, sort of students to learn easily and be able to develop their minds faster.
Like, graduates are lazy, to me, in my opinion, because you cannot tell me you're going to go study a course and then probably just stop, trying to experiment some of these things. I remember even in high school chemistry class, you have to test out some of these things before you can say, okay, this, and when you mix this and this, you get this. So if you're going to go to school and say you're going to do civil engineering, and for 4 years you haven't tried anything, you haven't, maybe even carried a brick or even measured the right, I don't know, something for a house, checked your auntie's house, checking the cement mixture, is it the right size, is it the right proportions, and you're going to tell me, okay, when I come out, after graduating, I'm going to get a job, and yet I can barely do anything that I have studied because, okay, the government didn't give us enough, facilities. I feel like that's an excuse. If you're really passionate about something, I feel like you can become creative around it and find a way of finding a solution. For example, I've seen people who are trying to be doctors, get frogs, get cockroaches, try to bring them back to life, try to sew them together, get birds and try to repair their broken wings. Like, these are things that are there. This is nature. You can't fail to find a way of practicing what you actually love and something you want to actually end up earning from. Although I hate this narrative that people think, being creative, being a job creator is only in the arts sector. No, there's a lot of science things people can do, but I feel like maybe our education system is to blame, but also as individuals, a lot of people are just waiting for everything to be given to them. I remember even in school, teachers would say, go out and practice, because practice makes you better, it makes you perfect. But a lot of people who go to university think, hey, you know what, I'm here, let me party. When I get a job is when I'll start to practice, and it's a bit an unleveled field. So I feel like one needs to meet the other halfway. If the teacher is giving you the education, you as a student, you need to take the extra initiative and try and practice some of these things. That's basically my opinion.
Yeah, I love what you've put out. You put out that issue of people thinking the creative bit is only in the art side. But then I think even it goes right back at home, whereby parents tend to discourage children from participating in things like sports, participating in housework. The parents are not doing much in trying to encourage kids to do such things, because honestly, if a kid has grown up home and maybe they have been doing housework, in his mind he must be thinking, if I do not have a job, probably I can start up a cleaning service. I could be the one soliciting out to those women perhaps who are on the society that can come up with, you can maybe be their team leader, and then they are doing the work for you as a cleaning service. So then they're also stopping kids from playing football, participating in those activities, forcing them to focus on education. So I think even parenting is not playing its role in terms of getting jobs for the kids when they grow up. The parents literally, I think it's only the teachers to play that part. There's also something you put out, I think it was I think I forgot it, but then so I think even the parents have a role to play. They need to try and support the kids' talent such that when they grow up, they admire those talent, and then perhaps turn them into jobs. Maybe.
As we wind up this episode, I want to ask you as Bako, what solution do you think we should be put in place to kind of give a remedy to this situation? Let's say there is a leader who is listening into this episode today. There is probably someone from Ministry of Education has really been trying to find out ways of, trying to solve this issue, because more people are producing kids, more people are joining school, and honestly, COVID is not going away, but we do need solutions. So what do you suggest?
Yes, Queen, you said that students do not have anywhere to practice whatever they have studied, such that they're able to get jobs. But even themselves, the economic situation alone usually makes students to always go out and want to get those jobs that are going to earn them money. Because for you to practice, meaning you're just going to be working as an intern and getting nothing. Yet for you to survive in Uganda after studies, you really need money. So the students have no platform to practice whatever they've done. The companies are also never willing to pay up for a guy who is not skilled. And then I think it's because most of us are forced to study things that we really don't like. For example, I was eligible for government sponsorship, but then I realized they are giving me a course in is it MDD? Yeah, but then that's not what I'm interested in. How do you expect me to graduate and then probably look for something there? So if you really go into something you're not interested in, but just because it's what your parents want, also what the government has offered you as sponsorship, then there's nothing much that's going to come out there. It's like you've wasted all your years studying that, but then since the interest is not there, sorry, it's going to die. And maybe to look at the solutions, I think the parents need to play a role. They need to support the kids when it comes to talent. They need to try and discover the kids' talent and support them. If the kid loves football, buy them shoes. If they love to sing, get them microphone, play for them for studio time, so that in case they do not manage to get the jobs here in the education bit, at least they can survive in the other side of talent. And maybe we should not direct this only to government. I think also the parents need to take time and give career guidance to their kids, because some of us, we end up studying things which are really not going to help us, but just because that's what is available. Honestly speaking, some of us even study things when even our parents don't know what we are studying. So I think career guidance will always help. Then supporting talent, and then also there's need for, they need to allow more students to do internship. Like, so it's upon the student to be brave and be able to go out there and do internship free of charge, because while you're doing that internship free of charge, you're gaining knowledge. But many of them don't want, when you tell them there's a job available here, all they ask is, how much are they giving me? Anything other than money, they don't want to work. It's what's going to help them to kind of upgrade whatever they have learned and be able to get the necessary experience needed.
Yeah, I definitely do agree. I have noticed in some big companies, you find a situation where the company is owned by probably a Kenyan, and then this person waits for their child to leave the UK on holidays and comes back and works from this side, interns from this company, and yet there are a lot of really talented Ugandans out there if you really give them a chance. So now, what are your last words as we sign out on UOT Radio? This has really been fun though.
Yeah, it's really been nice having this conversation with you, Lakeli. Yeah, maybe to the listeners, in case it's your first time or in case you've been listening and you haven't subscribed, I call on to you to check out on all your streaming platforms, and please subscribe so that you do not miss out on any of the episodes that come out. Yeah, that's it basically, and cheers to everyone.